Hey there YouTube, this is SteelFenix bringing you the first of many matches. This is a zombie mirror match between Justin and Brian. Justin starts off and draws his hand of 5. Brian also draws 5 cards. Brian is playing DivaZombies while Justin is playing telezombies. Brian starts off by playing an Allure of Darkness, drawing 2 cards. He removes from play Gores. Brian sets 1 monster face down defense mode. And sets 1 to the back row before passing his turn over. Justin activates Mystical Space Typhoon, destroys the face down bottomless trap hole. He activates an Allure of Darkness, draws 2 cards. The Allure of Darkness is a Salamander proxy. He removes from play Sangan and summons Mystic Tomato in attack mode. He attacks the face down monster, destroys Goblin Zombie, and Brian gets a search. Justin sets 1 to his back row and ends his turn. Brian searches his deck for Goblin Zombie, looks at his hand, considers Plague Spreader, but actually takes Zombie Master. Brian starts off by drawing for turn, activates Mystical Space Typhoon, destroys Justin's face down Mirror Force. Brian activates a second Allure of Darkness, draws 2, removes from play Zombie Master. Brian sets 1 monster, sets 1 card to the back row, and passes turn to Justin, who draws. Justin attacks with Mystic Tomato, and Brian destroys it with Mirror Force. Justin summons Zombie Master, sets a trap to the back row, and passes to Brian. Brian flip summons Goblin Zombie, swaps it out in his graveyard for the real Goblin Zombie. Normal summons Deep Sea Diva, begins the search. Justin changes Solemn Judgment, negates the Deep Sea Diva. He drops to 4,000 life points. Brian sets 1 card to the back row, reconsiders, and instead sets 2. He passes turn to Justin, who draws. Justin activates Gold Sarcophagus. He searches his deck for Burial, considers for a moment, adds it back to his deck, and chooses to get a different card. The Heavy Storm. He shuffles his deck, looks through his graveyard, Justin considers a move, sets 1 to the back row, and attacks Goblin Zombie with Zombie Master. Brian thinks about it, but allows it to go through. Zombie Master is destroyed. Brian drops 700 life points. Misplay on Brian's part, he forgets to search with Goblin Zombie. He looks at both his face downs and considers to activate them, gets Call of the Haunted, brings back Goblin Zombie, and Tribute summons it to bring out Caius the Shadow Monarch. Brian chooses to remove the face down bluffed Mirror Force instead of the Zombie Master. Caius attacks over Zombie Master. Justin loses 600 life points and drops to 3,400. Justin draws, looks through his graveyard, checks his life points. He sets one card to the back row before picking it back up. Has brain control in his hand. He passes turn to Brian. Brian draws, considers his move for a moment, looks at his back row. Justin has 3,400 life points remaining. Brian attacks directly with Caius. Justin drops to 1,000 life points and special summons Gores with a 2,400 token. Brian normal summons Mizuki and activates Torrential Tribute, destroying all the monsters on the field. Justin draws for turn. Normal summons Mizuki and swings for 1,700. He ends. Brian top decks. Looks through his graveyard before considering his move. Activates Lightning Vortex and discards Heavy Storm. Brian removes Mizuki for Goblin Zombie and attacks for game. Thanks for watching YouTube. Please watch Game 2. Will be posted up shortly.